All right, well, welcome to Deals of the Week. We're going to do a 357 edition. We're going to do a house in the 300s and the 500s and in the 700s. These are all going to be in sort of the central part of St. Petersburg. So let's get started with the first one here. And this is going to be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And I just want to show you the location because it is right dead center in St. Pete. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here so if you're not familiar with the Pinellas County and St. Pete area, you can kind of get a feel for where we're talking about. So this, where it says St. Petersburg, that is essentially the downtown. We'll zoom in here. You can see it's downtown right on the water. And this house is about 15 minutes in a neighborhood called Harris Park, and it's right near the interstate. So an easy shot to downtown, a nice little neighborhood, not in a flood zone. So let's take a look at what we're talking about here. This house is just under 400,000 at 399.5 after a $31,000 price drop. Before we go any further, I just want to make sure. All right, so they started out the end of last year at 419, a couple of price changes off the market, then back on the market at 399. So this house is priced at 366 per square foot, and Harris Park on the whole is priced at about 341 a square foot. Now, one of the reasons for that is there is still a lot of opportunity for renovations in Harris Park. It's a nice neighborhood. It's very clean. Crime score is pretty low. But there are still a lot of houses that have not been renovated. So those houses are going to be a little bit cheaper. This particular house at 2175 43rd Ave is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And you can see it's an older house, but it's just neat as a pin. And let's take a buzz through the pictures here. You can see that this is a very, very recent renovation. Essentially, I don't want to say no houses, but very few houses in St. Pete built during this time. I think this house was built in the 50s, would have had an open kitchen like that, or like you're seeing here. So there probably would have been a wall right along here, and then you would have entered the kitchen around this way. So they opened that up, turned it into a nice kitchen, enough room for dining. You might even put an island here, an eat-in island might be a good idea as well. So nice open little wood accent on the far wall here. Good sized living room. I mean, this house is only 1,092 square feet. So to make that a 3-2 is a little bit tricky. Obviously, you're not going to have a lot of extra room. The bathrooms are relatively small. You can see here the bedrooms are not huge by any stretch. There's no chance really to get a double vanity in there. But if you're looking for a 3-2 in this price range that's renovated, this might be an opportunity for you. Good sized backyard, or excuse me, take that back. This is not the backyard. That I think is the side yard because you can see, well, let's bounce over to the street view and we'll go around the corner here, back up a little bit. So that's the back of the house right there. So you don't have much of a backyard at all. However, you can easily use the side yard as your backyard. So assuming pretty sure there's a door behind here that you can use to get to the backyard. So not much of a backyard, but a nice little side yard here, which would serve as your backyard. And then you have the full 1-car garage, which is nice. And so overall, very nice, super clean. This is a recent renovation. Even from that Google Street view, you can see there's a fence post there. This was around the time they were doing, I think this was in 2022. So it's a pretty recent renovation. Let's see what we've got. So we got new flooring. The roof is newer. We'll assume that's a couple of years old. The newer air handler. And of course, this is not in a flood zone as well. So, what I really love about this house is that you're going to have a hard time finding a full 3-2. I get it. It's only 1,092 square feet, but a renovated 3-2 for under 400 is not an easy find in St. Pete, especially if it's not in the flood zone. And this one is not. The other thing I love about this is 187 days on the market. So 6 months on the market. And I'm going to assume that we're going to be getting into a price range that's going to start picking up some buyers sooner than later. This is just a few days ago, or 2 days ago, they lowered the price by 15,000, and we'll see what happens there. But I would suspect, in the 380s that this house would sell pretty quickly. The downsides obviously is that you really don't have a backyard, but you have enough of a side yard that it can serve as a backyard. And I want to make clear on the location here. Oh, before I go further, crime score low. It's a 4 out of 10. Always do your homework on the exact location, but this part of St. Pete, the Harris Park, is relatively low crime score. Anything under 5 is considered on the low side. And then, of course, the flood zone here would be an X flood zone. They show it as a 1 out of 10, which doesn't tell you that much, but you would not be required to get flood insurance here. And again, you just look at this location. We'll zoom in a little bit. And that's the little orange diamond here. So you're about a 10-minute ride on the interstate to downtown. And you can go right out 38th. And you're out to Madeira Beach in maybe 20 or 25 minutes. And this is the lineup of beaches here in Pinellas County. It starts at Paso Grill on the south end down to St. Pete, Treasure Island, and Madeira Beach. So you can get to almost any of these beaches within a half an hour. So location is great. This obviously doesn't work for someone who is looking to buy a house and put some sweat equity. I don't see a lot of opportunity to make improvements here, other than, like I said, potentially a nice kitchen island here. But everything else has already been done. Those are new cabinets, appliances, flooring. The roof is newer. The air handler is newer. There wouldn't be much to do, but I would say that at $366 a square foot, just a shade under $400,000 for fully move-in ready house plus a one-car attached garage, that this house is inching into a range that it's going to attract some buyers. So if you might be interested in this one, reach out, shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email. We'll set up a showing to go see it. But that is our house in the threes, barely, 399.5. Let's take a look at house number 2. All right, so this is house number 2. It's at 3220 10th Street North in St. Petersburg. And this is in what's referred to as the Magnolia Heights neighborhood. And just to give you some indication, we'll zoom out a little bit here. Again, the first house that we saw was Harris Park, which is just a few streets to the north. Magnolia Heights is seen a lot of renovation activity. 12, 14 years ago, you get a house in there for 90,000, but most of those houses have been snapped up and renovated at this point. So obviously they're selling for quite a bit more, but the location is next to Allendale Park, which is huge houses. These are $1 million plus houses in there. Greater Woodlawn, which is an older neighborhood, a lot of colonial, like Dutch colonial type houses in there. In the 900s is not unusual in there, and even higher. And Euclid St. Paul is kind of the same. So you're adjacent to some really, really nice neighborhoods. And then St. Pete Heights is also undergoing a lot of renovations as well. So as we zoom out a little bit, again, you can see our first house, Harris Park, was here. Magnolia Heights is even a little bit closer to downtown. So you're just out to 4th Street, basically, and a straight shot into downtown. 12, 14 minutes, you're right in the center of downtown, and get to the waterfront pretty quickly from there. And again, beaches, straight out 38th Avenue, and you can get to Reddington, North Reddington, or Madeira Beach in about 30 minutes or so. So this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,360 square feet at $386 a square foot. And let's take a little buzz through the pictures, see what we've got. Nice curb appeal. Everything looks nice and clean on the outside. Slate floors, big open living area, a fireplace there. It's got a galley style kitchen, which is not what a lot of buyers are looking for, but in these older homes, unless they blow out a wall and do a lot of reconfiguring, that's what you're going to get a lot of times. Obviously, it looks like a new stove there. And a big primary bedroom with a double vanity. It's like the original hardwood floors there. And then your guest bathroom or guest bedrooms. And then a detached 1-car garage, and that would be an alley entrance there. And then a nice, nice enough sort of side and backyard, really. So let's go through some of the features on this house. And I believe the roof was 2019, so you've got some time left on that. You got new carpet, uh, new vanity, and all new kitchen appliances. So this wasn't like a yesterday renovation, and it's brand new on the market, just 2 weeks. So it's hard to get a feel for whether or not it's going to go for this price. So just a week or so, actually, and this is something that you like to see too. I mean, I like to look at houses that have been on the market for a while because you get sellers that are anxious to sell at that point. There's no question about that. But what we've got here is a smart listing agent and seller. They put it up at $549. Obviously, they didn't get enough interest, and they did not wait a lot of time to lower the price by almost $25,000, which tells me they got some buyers in there, maybe liked the house, but said, I'd like it better at a lower price point. And these guys did not mess around, and they lowered it pretty quickly, which is a good sign. It means that you've got a seller that's probably willing to do some negotiation there. So this is also, there was another note in here. I remember seeing that there was a possible seller financing possible. So if you're in a situation where you may not be able to get a conventional mortgage and you've got some cash, you may be able to get the seller to finance this house. So I do love this house, honestly. One thing that I don't like, and this is not sure why it ended up this way. I'm not crazy about this thing. I would rather have just seen a wall there with some more cabinets. I'm not sure what you're getting out of the view from the living room into the dishwasher here. I mean, that's just an aesthetic thing, but I would ditch this Roman column and frame that wall up and maybe put it more granite here for counter space. Because I just don't know. I mean, are you walking through? It looks like a metal detector the way it's set up. I'm not being critical. I'm just saying that I don't see the purpose of not having a wall here, to be honest with you. If you had a wall there, you could have a little easy chair facing the fireplace as opposed to just I don't know who's going to walk through there. Not a big deal. That could be framed up pretty easily, I would think. So I'm not crazy about that. You know, the fireplace is in a little bit of a weird spot, but you could have a little seating area there, I think, and that would be nice. So that and the galley kitchen, which, you know, again, you're going to find a lot in these older houses unless they start really reconfiguring and blowing out walls. So this is a really nice example of a 3-2 with some space. I know 1360 doesn't sound like a lot of square footage, but for that central part of St. Pete that is not in the neighborhoods that have all the big houses like Old Northeast or Crescent Lake, where you're getting into the 2,000 square foot houses. This is a decent size for a 3-2, and at 525, I'd say it's probably entering the range where buyers are going to start considering it. So if it's something that you might want to see, reach out, send me a text, shoot me an email, give me a call. We'll set up a showing to go see this one. And with that, let's take a look at house number 3. And this is in the North Kenwood neighborhood, which if you're not familiar with St. Pete, again, North Kenwood is also more or less in the center of St. Pete. Our first house was up here. Our second house was over here. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can get a better view. This is North Kenwood, Magnolia Heights here, and Harris Park was up here. So this is a little bit closer to downtown. And as far as location goes, this is one of the fastest up-and-coming neighborhoods in all of St. Pete. And the reason for that is because it's right next to historic Kenwood, which is a neighborhood that has the highest density of bungalows. I believe it's in the whole country. And the prices there are really, really high for small houses. And it's a great neighborhood. And it borders downtown. So you can see North Kenwood here. And we'll scroll in a little bit, or we'll zoom in a little bit. That's 9th Ave and 5th Ave, and then you're into downtown. So, you know, you're like 20 blocks away from downtown here. Also, so on the south side, you got historic Kenwood. Then to the east, you have historic Uptown and Euclid, St. Paul, and Greater Woodlawn, also very expensive neighborhoods. And then, of course, the Old Northeast neighborhood is over here. So you're very close to much more expensive neighborhoods, which is, you know, a good thing. You want to be close to neighborhoods that have more expensive houses. So this one is actually a townhouse. It's a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 2,165 square feet. So it's a big place at $333 a square foot. You're not going to get relatively. This was built, I think, in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Double check. It was originally sold It doesn't say it here, but I think it was 2018 or 2019 these were built. Oh yeah, right there, 2019, this one was built. So good luck finding a new build in a non-flood zone close to downtown at 333 a square foot. You're most likely to find that in a townhouse situation. Obviously, there are upsides and downsides to that. But let's buzz through the pictures, take a look at the layout, because I think you're going to really like it. It is a 2-car garage, 2-floor, and you've got some amenities here and just a big, big living space. Beautiful kitchen. I mean, everything is just a few years old. And there's one bedroom downstairs, or excuse me, one bathroom downstairs, a half bath. The rest of the bedrooms are upstairs. And you got a small balcony. And let's see if we've got a picture of the garage in here as well. And there's your 2-car garage. So it is a gated community, and the HOAs are pretty low at, I think it's $4 something a month, $432 a month. There's not a ton of amenities here. It's the pool and then the exterior maintenance, so you don't have to worry about mowing your lawn or whatever. There's really not much to dislike about this place. If you are interested in a townhouse, it's newer, it's big. Maybe I'm not as crazy about having all the bedrooms on the second floor. Obviously, when you have guests, maybe you'd like to have a little bit more privacy than that, but that's just the way it goes. The HOAs are relatively low for the size of this place, and the location, as I said, is great. We're not in a flood zone, of course. It shows moderate crime here. This neighborhood is not, again, you got to do your research on a specific part of a neighborhood, because I don't think of North Kenwood as having a higher crime situation than Harris Park. But either way, if you're 5 or under, that's typically seen as a good thing. And looking at the pricing of this, it looks like they went on the market just about a month ago at $735, and now they're down to $720. So at $333 a square foot for a big place, relatively speaking, here in St. Pete, 2,165 square feet, 2-floor, 3-bedroom, 3.5-bath townhouse is pretty good. Talking about 15 minutes from downtown or so. So if you're thinking about a townhouse and you have the budget and you want to take a look at this one, let me know. Shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email. Love to help you out. And so those are our 3 deals for the week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.